Hello and welcome to this story of my life. This is a heartwarming story that also has a good message for any of you young lads who are thinking of having children one day, or even if you do have children. A heartwarming message. So, as I've noted, I worked at Landmark Education in some evenings, and one of the jobs that I had at Landmark Education, privileged to have, was the job of calling up people and talking with them about what they were thinking and planning and hoping to get out of the Landmark Forum. This was to go through, the idea was when they registered, they would fill out some paperwork, they would say what they were trying to get out of it, and we would give them a coaching call before the Landmark Forum to listen to what it is that they were trying to get out of it, and maybe guide them, advise them a little bit in getting themselves mentally prepared to come into the Landmark Forum. That was kind of what this was about. So anyway, this evening I picked up this form, and it said, I have problems with my son and I want to be a better father, and I'm not quite sure how to go about doing that. And I was like, oh, gold, one of these doesn't come along very often. So I called the guy, and he was an Indian gentleman. I got him on the phone, and I said, hi, my name's Peter Nolan. I'm from Landmark Education. I have your registration form in front of me, etc., etc. I've read your registration form, and I believe that what you're talking about is you're wondering, does Landmark Forum have anything to do or can help you in any way along the lines of being a better father? Have I got this right so far? And he says, yeah, that's what I wrote down on my form. And he says, are you a father? And I said, yeah, sure, I have 4 children. And he goes, really, 4 children? I said, yeah, I'm the sole income earner. I'm married, I have 4 children. 2 of them are from my wife's first marriage. So, yeah, I have 4 children. And he says, and you've done this forum thing? I said, yeah, I've done it. He said, well, what would you say about did it help you be a better father? And I said, absolutely. The stuff that I got out of the Landmark Forum has been indispensable in making me a better father. And I said to him, when I read your form, I said to myself, gold. It's not often I get to talk to another man who is a father who wants to be a better father. I said, when I read your form, I just said to myself, gold. I was so looking forward to talking to you tonight. And he said, really? I said, oh, absolutely. I said, if you want to be a better father, I said, there is nowhere in the world you should be other than the Landmark Forum. You are going to get out of this everything that you want. And he said, really? And I said, well, tell me, why do you feel that you need to be a better father? What's your concern there? And he said, well, I just get so angry with my boy. I said, really? Can you tell me something about that? Just share with me what your thoughts and feelings are about that. And he said, sure, thank you for asking. You know how, he said, you're a father of 4. He said, do you have boys or girls? I said, well, I have 2 of each, 2 boys and 2 girls. He said, so you know what little boys are like? I said, well, I know what little boys are like, and let me tell you, little girls are not far behind, The boys do get up to more mischief, that is, there's no question about that. But they're more inclusive, they're more active, and they get up to more mischief. But the girls are not far behind. Girls present different problems to boys, but no fewer problems. And we laughed about that. He said, I don't have a girl, so I don't know. I said, well, if you think that having a girl will present you with no problems, I can assure you that they're just different problems. And we laughed about this. And he said, but my little boy, he's got so much energy, and he just runs around so much, and he takes up so much time, and I'm very busy. I have my work to do, and I love my family, my wife and my son, but it's very hard on me, and I get angry, and I get frustrated, and I just, I don't want to get angry and frustrated, of course, but if you've been at work for 14 hours and you're tired and you're hungry and your boy's running around and your wife is it's not being helpful. You know how these things are. And I said, yeah. I said, oh my, you are absolutely in the right place. I mean, yes. I said, by the way, before I did the Landmark Forum, things were so bad in our house. I wanted to divorce my wife. I was really very, very, very unhappy. And he said, really? I said, oh yeah, without the Landmark Forum, we'd be divorced now. It's only through the forum that we remained married. And he goes, really? It was like that? Oh, absolutely. And we had this chat, and I said, so your concern is that you get tired and frustrated and angry, and you don't want to feel like that, but that's how you feel. And he goes, yeah. And I said, I'd like to improve that situation. I went, look, you are in exactly the right place. Let me assure you that you bring that to the Landmark Forum, you will get out of this everything that you want in spades. Absolutely. Trust me on that. You're in exactly the right place. This is exactly the place for you. I really am looking forward to meeting you. And so he said, okay, well, thank you very much for your reassurance. I really appreciate that, particularly coming from a man with 4 children. I said, great. So I look forward to meeting you at the forum. She said, okay, great. We hung up. And so anyhow, I did meet him at the forum, said hello, blah, blah, blah. And then on the Tuesday night, I went to their Tuesday night session to just listen to what people got out of it. Tuesday nights were like the payoff. Tuesday nights was the evening session for the Landmark Forum, where people would have gone out and talked to their friends and their family and bring them along to the session to explain to them what it was all about and hopefully get them to enroll and talk about what they got out of it. And on the Tuesday night, the first 2 hours or so were just people standing up, sharing their stories about what they got out of the forum. And it's like the heroine of the Landmark Forum. It's the heroine period of the Landmark Forum. This is the smack of Landmark Forum. All these people standing up going, I got this, and this. It looks like a bunch of crazies. I mean, when I went to a Tuesday night session, it does actually look like a bunch of crazy people, right? They do occur as completely insane. So I went to this session, and you got to imagine this as by these days there were 200 people per forum doing the forum, and there was about 500 people in this room. It was the Masonic Centre in downtown Sydney. About 500 people seated in this room, right? And anyhow, the forum leader was going around just asking people to stand up and talk about what they got out of the forum. And lo and behold, I was standing at the back of the room, yeah, and it's 500 people in the place. There wasn't a seat for me, so I was standing at the back of the room. And this guy stands up, and it's the guy I talked to on the phone a couple of weeks previously. And he gets to stand up. And I'm like, oh, I've lucked out, because I'd seen him on the weekend, just said hello, but nothing to talk about, and because I was at the centre. And he got a chance to stand up. Out of the 200 participants, he got a chance to stand up. And the forum leader, sorry, this is a very touching story for me. So the forum leader said, Sammy, I think his name was, he said, can you just share with people here what you got out of the forum? He said, yeah. He said, something very special happened today, and I'll explain it. He said, I have a job, and I have a wife and a lovely little 2-year-old boy, and I worked very hard, and, I'm just a man. Some nights I come home, and I'm tired, and I'm hungry, and I've had a hard day, and, my wife is busy or whatever, and my boy's energetic, and he's running around, and he wants his daddy's attention, but I'm tired, and, the way I was, and the way I've been, is that I've been angry and frustrated with my wife and my son, and I've been tired and resentful, and I wanted my boy to not be so energetic and run around and be such a nuisance of himself, and I've been making him wrong for being a nuisance, and making my wife wrong for for not paying me as much attention as I want, and all the rest of it. So I've been in this place where I've been kind of frustrated. And, little boys are supposed to have energy, but, hopefully not that much. And I've just been really frustrated about all that. And the forum leader said, so what happened today? You said something happened today. And he said, yeah, it did. I had a real breakthrough today, a real miracle. I've never felt like this before. And I just wanted to tell everybody. Of course, we're coming to the Tuesday night session, so I had to leave work early, and I came home. And my little boy, of course, he's happy to see me. And when I came in the door, he was like, Daddy, and he ran up the hallway. But as he ran up the hallway, we had a vase on a table. He ran up the hallway, and he was so excited to see me. Excuse me. He knocked the vase off the table and broke the vase. And then he was really, really worried and frightened that I was going to spank him. And you can imagine the scene, happy to see me, knocking the vase over, breaking the vase. I was thinking, why does anybody have a vase on a table in a hallway with a 2-year-old in the house? But he did. He said, but he broke the vase, and then my boy was really worried. He said, and I looked at that situation as I was standing there, and last week, if that happened last week, I would have scolded him about breaking the vase. But today, I looked at him, and I threw my arms out and called him to me, and he leapt up and hugged me, and I hugged him and I kissed him. And whereas a week ago, I would have scolded him. He said that for me was a miracle. And the forum leader said, so that's really different for you? He said, yeah, previously I'd have been really upset. And the forum leader said, so what changed? He said, I understand the vase was broken. I could understand you being angry and upset about the vase being broken. So what changed for you fundamentally? And he said, as I was in the forum, I realized that I was putting these other things in front of my family and being frustrated. I love my family, but I'm putting other things in front of them and then being frustrated at the distance. Said, what changed for me is my family comes first, my wife comes first, and my boy comes first. So what changed for me is when he broke the vase and I saw the vase was broken, where I would have been angry and upset, I threw my arms open and called him to me, and he jumped up and he cuddled me and he kissed me. And he's my boy, and that's only a vase. That's what changed. And I was standing at the back of the room going, oh my God, this what have we done? This little boy is going to have a completely different experience of his life now. That his dad was stuck in this position, having things stuck in front of the importance of his little boy, like broken vases and things that happen with little boys in the house. And I cried. I just started crying at the back of the room. And the person standing next to me was actually someone I went through the forum with and was in my group. Her name was Michelle. And she was standing next to me, and I just started crying. And she looked at me and said, what's up? Why are you crying? And I said, that man was one of the people that I rang in preparation for him doing his forum. And he told me exactly that was his issue, that how he loved his family, but how it was frustrating, and how he was searching for a way to live in harmony and create a more loving environment for his family. He just didn't know how to express it. In that story, I looked at it and I said, do you know... I looked at her and said, do you know the miracles we're creating here? That little boy is going to have a completely different experience of life because his father was willing to put himself out there, and we were willing to help his father realize that it's just a vase. So do you realize? Do you understand the miracles we're creating here? And she just said, yeah. He said, that is such a lovely story. That man is just such a lovely story. And that's how it was. That was a lovely story. So if you have a child, or you're thinking you're having kids, and you ever get to the stage where it's really frustrating, it's hard work, and it's all the rest of it, maybe you can take a leaf out of Sammy's book and remember it's only a vase, right? He's my boy, and that's only a vase. It was one of the really lovely stories that for me ever came out of the Landmark Forum. I sure hope you liked it. Thanks very much for listening.